Hi there, Robbie Figg, General Manager at Happiness Co. Recently, our CEO Julian sat down with Optus Stadium CEO Mike McKenna to discuss our purpose partnership, the future of it, and how it's positively affected the mental health and wellbeing of the Optus Stadium team to date.
It's been a pretty difficult 12 months or nearly 2 years for so many people across Australia, the world, the employees at Optus Stadium. For us personally, how have you found the Happiness Co partnership to benefit your employees through our workshops, our programs, and what have been the benefits so far?
Well, it's been amazing. I think we formed a partnership before COVID came along, which is very fortuitous for us because the partnership's really paid off. It's been a really difficult time for everyone, and those of us in the events industry have had it no better and maybe arguably worse than some people. So having the partnership where we could involve you in our discussions with our staff in order for them to talk about their experiences, talk about how they're handling the uncertainty of this time, it's a real challenge and a real mental health challenge for us with our people. So to be able to sort of have a partner who can bring people together, get them talking, and use your skills and experience, your friendly nature of you and your team to be able to get people out of themselves and to have those conversations has really helped tremendously.
Absolutely, and mental health doesn't discriminate, as you know. It's such a difficult thing to, I guess, work your way through, especially when you're feeling stressed. And I guess the term uncertain has been something that we've all used over this last 12 months to 2 years, because you don't really know how far to look ahead, and that can be daunting in itself.
Yeah, that's absolutely a big problem for us. We've had events cancelled on the day of games. We've had people who've put in a week of work, including our chefs, preparing food, all to be thrown away when we can't donate it to someone. And most of the time we can't. But all the effort's gone in for our events and ops team, our ticket sales team, our commercial team preparing for a game to have it taken away. And then we've had periods where we thought we'd have no events. All of a sudden we've had events pop up, quite quickly and had to gear up again. So it's been a real challenge to keep that mental equilibrium, and people have found it difficult. Surprisingly, people have found it difficult. Areas you wouldn't have thought they've struggled, and so until you're talking about it, you don't really know. Yeah. So to have those sessions, whether they be face to face or online, to facilitate a discussion, people realise they're not on their own. Has been fantastic for us, and it really helped our staff.
Happiness Co's everyday approach to mental health and well-being has been such an important part of what you guys are doing here, but more importantly, it has been received by staff.
Yeah, look, I think it's really important because mental health is a day-by-day issue, and the stresses we face have been day to day, week to week, and month to month, and going on year to year. But you never know when a person's going to have an issue or a question or a problem that we need to deal with, and the first challenge is to surface it. So if we're doing that on a everyday basis, you can bring those things to the surface and deal with them more quickly and more efficiently for the people involved. As long as they're happy with that. Sometimes people just want to put things off and talk about them later, or may not want to talk about them in the workplace, but they're getting the skills in order to be able to recognise the challenge and be able to go somewhere to get the help they need, even if it's just a chat. Or a hug or whatever it might be that you might need to get through. And the process which you put in place with us and having regular occasions where we get staff together to have a particular focus has really helped us develop those skills and appreciation for the fact that people are having these challenges.
Absolutely, and we've definitely found the feedback from the Optus Stadium staff is it's nice to know that you're not alone. Because sometimes even unhappiness, feeling lost, uncertain, you can feel like all these pressures are mounting up on you and no one else may be going through them. So I think when you do a group workshop, you realise that so many people are facing so many of the same challenge, and that helps us feel that we're connected in a really strange way at times.
Yeah, look, I think we are all connected now. I think we're connected with the challenges we face and the things that are ahead of us. But you're right, people don't always recognise that they are sharing these feelings with others. Maybe they're slightly different and the impacts are slightly different, but at the end of the day, the problems we're facing are the same, so the challenges that you face with those problems are very, very, very frequently the same. And I think this has helped us get to that point where people can say, I'm not afraid to say I've got a challenge here and I need to help to deal with it, or I just need a chat.
And sometimes it's the hardest question to ask, isn't it? I need help. Yeah. We see this a lot with our workshops. Sometimes the hardest question to ask people is, I need help.
Yeah, people have been trained not to show those sort of weaknesses, particularly in the workspace. And it's only in recent times when these conversations become acceptable, and it's great to have somebody to help facilitate those conversations. So you're taking it away from maybe your direct manager or your CEO or whoever it might be, or even your people and culture team who really try hard, but they're part of the organisation. For someone else to come in and say, it's okay to do this, when we're doing it with other companies, we're doing it with other people, and you're amongst friends, is a good thing. And then the team bonds more, and then there's more trust. So it does build over time, and we're seeing that at the moment.
We've got the gala coming up and some acts of kindness and some contributions. And as a CEO of such a big organisation, how do you feel about putting things together that are focused on people's mental health in the community?
Look, it's so important. I mean, we're a major asset, and it's, the state government of WA's put a lot of money into this place, and so we see a responsibility to do things for the community. And we run a lot of events here for profit, but we also run quite a few not for profit. We just had one recently with a telethon kids festival, family festival. We've got Christmas markets we put on here every year, and they are loss-making activities for us, but they bring the community here. And working with Happiness Co, particularly on your gala event, which is an amazing event, and we're so excited to have it here at the stadium. Putting those things on is such an important part of what we do. And I think our staff get a real buzz out of that, because we work really hard on events that make money for the government and for our business. But the things that we do for the community is so much more important to them, and they get involved. We have volunteers who volunteer their time outside of their normal working hours to make those things work, and they get such a reward out of it, such a buzz. And seeing the people who come along directly benefiting from them is a great reward for all that hard work.
I think it's such a residual impact contribution, isn't it? So the Optus Stadium contributes to Happiness Co to be able to run the event here, and then the residual impact of that is all the people who may potentially do workshops in 2022 that may be struggling with their mental health. And
Correct.
even at Optus Stadium staff and management team and the state government may never meet these people, but still being part of that process and that journey allows these events to come to life.
Well, I'm surprised, even though we're not necessarily part of all those things, we do see the people coming in and out, and I think that even the staff who are working customer service, we see them passing on the way out after they've come on the way in, and can see a difference in the way they're walking, the way they hold themselves, people bouncing out of the place. And we come out to summer too, so there's all the sort of the promise of better things ahead from a weather perspective, for COVID, and just for people's mental attitude. And I think we're starting to see that cycle, and I think the staff really enjoy that. They get such a kick out of working here, and I think that's why people, when they come here, talk a lot about the customer service experience, because they get a great response from smiling, happy staff, because they work in such a great place with such great opportunities.
So Mike, in your role as the CEO of Optus Stadium, there'll be many people watching this right now that may be doing a little tough. And what would be your bit of wisdom and advice for them?
If you're in that situation, there's always someone who loves you or cares for you, or you have a relationship with you can talk to, and don't hesitate to say something to someone, because most often just talking about it gets that weight off your mind and makes things clearer. But the help they can provide you, either directly themselves or putting you in touch with someone else, it's so easy to do, but after you've crossed that first hurdle of doing it. So I just encourage you to be brave, take a deep breath, and just reach out for help, because people will offer it to you every time.
I think so many people would be interested to know, how does someone in your position look after your happiness and your well-being?
Yeah, it's a good question. I do probably a couple of things really. This place is full of pressure, and a lot of it's pressure of taking care of people, and then there's the other one, which is keeping the business safe, making sure that it's on track. And in a difficult time like this, you've got all sorts of pressures. And then more recently, we've had the pressure of the AFL Finals series, and the delivery of it was a whole lot less than the winning of it. So the bidding process and getting to be chosen to host was a very stressful period for me. And then once we got past it, the team took over and increased the stress on them. But for me, I've got two ways. I mean, because it's such a social environment, I like to get my strength back by going to quiet places. And so I spend a lot of time with my partner Elisa and our new puppy Owen. And having a dog, I've not had a dog before, but having somebody else in your life or something else in your life that sort of distracts you from the everyday challenge is a great thing. Other than that, I really spend a lot of time trying to make sure I'm physically fit for the job. For me, that is probably 4 mornings a week at the gym, and a couple of days at Pilates, which I spend a lot of time on. And then I really look forward to Sunday when I don't do anything of that. So you can, even with your routine, that's keeping you mentally strong and healthy. Sometimes you need a break from that too. So I really love Sunday where I do absolutely nothing. I think everyone's different. Some people get their strength from people and they want to be around people. Me, I do that every day during the week. So I like to get away and have some quiet time. And Lisa and Owen are great for me, because they don't have to worry about me being the CEO. I'm not the CEO at home, I can tell you that.
Is there a way that when you're feeling, do you know when you can feel yourself getting stressed and a little anxious and you need some time out?
Yeah.
Is there a time in your life when you feel like I definitely need to take a break or take a moment for myself?
Yeah, I don't generally get terribly stressed. I think exercising hard every morning helps get rid of that and focuses you and gives you a chance to take away from that. But definitely, I do know when I'm getting stressed. I feel it physically.
Yeah.
It starts to tighten up the stomach, and you find yourself tense in your body. And that, recognising those signals tells me that I've just got to get away, and even just go for a walk, and to try and forget about it, or just rationalise it. Because most things, you deal with the moment, and that's all you can do. No point worrying about what might happen or what's just happened. Live in the moment and deal with that, and then it's not so hard.
Yeah. And I think we hear it all the time, that cliche, focus on the things that you can control, not can't control, but it's cliche as it sounds, it's so true.
It is true.
You can only focus on the things in front of you that you can control, and a lot of people do get caught up in that overwhelm of the things they can't control.
Yeah, and if you focus on those things in your control at the moment, you can make the best decision. If you're clouding your mind by thinking of what might happen or what has just happened, you can make the wrong decision, and it just compounds the situation.
Thank you so much for joining and watching our chat between the CEOs. In terms of what we do, find out more at happinessco.org, and always head to optusstadium.com.au to find out what's happening there.